Okay,
Alrighty,
we should be live. So welcome everybody to the first edition of Tips from the Top Leaders Edition. We started this actually back in swim last year, and we just hadn't quite figured out exactly how to do it. So I think we might have a little bit better hang of it this time. Hang out, pun intended. And this edition, and these are going to be ran also by Triple Diamond, Charity Ellison, and Justin Holden. And then would you ladies like to introduce yourselves as well?
Hi, I'm Lori Haider. I'm a distributor under Krista Joe.
And I'm Krista Joe, Diamond Leader with It Works.
Perfect. And Krista Joe and I are the ones that are coordinating these. We're going to be doing these once a week on Saturday mornings, same time, same day. And each week we're going to be kind of tackling a different topic according to what you distributors have said to us that you need help with. So we actually picked the first topic, which is the topic for today, which is time management. Krista Joe and I both firmly believe that this is the one area that people have the most struggles with. A lot of other struggles come out of time management, but I think time management is the culprit. I know when I first started this crazy rat business, I had never, ever done anything like this before, and time management was not my friend. I had a really hard time staying on task until I realized that I actually had been living my life with time management. I just didn't realize it because I owned a salon. So when the moment I realized, which took me about a year in, that I should be running this like I do the salon by booking appointments, keeping to them, running on time, having someone else help me with my administrative stuff, is really when my business took a turn for the better. What do you have to say about that, Krista Joe? When did you first realize time management was so important?
From the beginning. I had a lot of experience in nursing school in time management. All these crazy classes. So they really drilled us on the importance of planning and organizing ourselves in order to be successful just getting through school. So in having that behind me, I realized just going in this how important it is to properly manage my time, especially because I started working 80 hours a week with a full-time job, just like most people, and realized that the only way this business was going to work is if I could fit it into the nooks and the crannies of my life, and I had to plan for it to happen a certain way. So I had to learn how to manage my time in order to be successful, not only just at work, but with my family life and incorporating this business as well.
Sure.
So what about you, Lori?
And I know we're really lucky today to have Lori with us because time management is kind of one of her specialties. I had the honor of spending some time with her last weekend and getting to hear how her schedule runs. And I was like, dang, girl, I thought I had my stuff together. So I really realized truly that, even someone like myself, it's Triple Diamond, that's been doing this for almost 2 years, that I can even run my schedule better, especially after this crazy week. So I wanted to get started here and ask a question to you guys. Why do you think time management is so important, especially with network marketing?
Well, with network marketing, I'm actually just really launching right now. Some of my background is I've actually, in the past, in my career, I've managed 4 professional teams. I have 10 years of higher education. I'm certified project manager, that's the certification you need if you are in the construction management industry and you build multi-million-dollar buildings and you're responsible for not just 10-member teams, but 50-member teams. And the budget is, I'm responsible for that. So I had to be professionally trained in managing every 15-minute increment of my day and then duplicating that to the team. So I'm so excited now to have an industry where all of that can just transfer and I'm the one making the millions, not the people I was working for.
So, absolutely.
And we actually transfer that knowledge onto us because we could use that 15 minutes help.
We need all the 15 minutes helps we can get.
Yeah, and it's so easy once you learn just some of those basic principles, how transferable it is. And what we've accomplished in 1 week is outstanding together, Krista. It's amazing.
I love it. And I'm so excited for you today to be sharing some of those with us. So I saw a really cool quote that kind of motivated me to start my time management, and it was, why is time management so important? Because failing to plan is planning to fail. And I read that, and it really spoke to me, because when we first started, Justin and I were both working full-time jobs, and we felt like we were running around with chickens with their head cut off, like a lot of distributors do right now. You know, I hear this from my team a lot, like, I'm a busy mom, I'm a busy, you know, I work another job, I work nights, my husband works days. So the first thing that I have written down here is the importance of goal setting. Now, how do you guys use goal setting to really start your time management? Is that something that you guys think is important in your managing of your time?
Absolutely. I actually form my schedule around my goals. So what I do, actually, I do my goals. Sometimes I do reevaluate them daily, but I do weekly goal setting, and then I also do monthly goal setting, and then long term. So like right now, I've already set my goals for the year. That okay, I want to go, you know, ambassador's a stretch, but I definitely want to be presidential by the end of the year. Okay, well, where do I want to be in 6 months? Where do I want to be in 90 days? And what do I want to accomplish this month? But more importantly, okay, with what I want to accomplish this month, I break that down into weekly goals. So if my goal was to build a diamond this month, what would I need to do to help build a diamond? Well, that would be close to building almost a ruby a week. And I know that's kind of all of our goals right now is what we're focusing on, is building a ruby a week and helping our team to be successful and reach their goals. So then I incorporate that on my schedule. So in actuality, I'll just show you. I was working on my schedule for next week, and this is my planner. And I have here, I drew my own little ruby chart. So the person that I'm helping get to ruby, what my focus on for the week is going to be right here. And then, of course, I have other sheets with more rubies. But I think it makes it easier to accomplish your goals when you break them down and you put them in your planner. And then I have a daily focus. So then I can focus daily, what is my priority for that day? So I think the most important thing with goal setting is know what your 1 year goal is, and know how to break that goal down so you can accomplish it month by month. And we're all human. There are going to be times that we do fall short of our goals, and that's okay. But you also want to prepare for those months that you may fall short to where you can make up for it at another time. So I think it's important just to break down those goals, because so many people are like, oh, I want to go diamond. But how? Well, break down that diamond and notice, okay, it starts with the steps to success. Sign those 3 distributors, duplicate, teach them to do the same. When that happens, you go ruby. Well, then when you go ruby, you help those 3 people do the same, and that's how you go diamond. So it's so simple, but knowing how to break down those steps are going to make you more successful, not only at your goal setting and actually accomplishing your goals, but in managing your time. You're going to know what your focus is for that day or for that week.
I love that, and I love the idea of actually writing that down. And I was listening to Bob Goshen, who is a motivational network marketing guru, and actually that was one of the things I heard yesterday was, you know, he said the best thing that my sponsor ever did with me was ask me what I wanted and by when I wanted it, and then sat down with me and really made a game plan. Because, you know, I think we all say, you know, we want to go ruby, we want to go emerald, but we don't really know how to go there, so we're just going to try. And then we wind up getting lost and scrolling on Facebook.
Yes.
And what do you have to say about that, Lori? I know that you're really big on goal setting as well.
Yep. And everything, I think that what you learn about the steps for success, meaning taking it outside of it works, the principles of success are the same across any industry, the same across any person, the same across any strategy that you would have, and you'll find similar tools. Like I was trained up under, not the Passion Planner, I was trained up under Franklin Covey. It was actually a requirement for me, 15 years ago in my job. Our bosses sent us to that. We had to get certified, and you can't just get that. You have to earn those certifications in project management. You have to demonstrate your organization and ability to successfully complete projects in time, and that's time, money, and people. You know, so all of those principles are exactly the same. So Franklin Covey in 5 steps your goals for your life, because that's what inspiration brings perspiration, right? And you can't inspire somebody unless you have to bring it out of them, and it's not a catchy thing, it's the truth. Inspiration, so that's your goals. And then your goals can be broken down into strategies. So just those two things, it's either a goal or it's a strategy task, So then annually, I have a planner as well, and it has basically the same things. And for your planner, you need to have a calendar to keep your appointments. Whichever tool works, if it's all electronic, if it's paper, however, that's fine. A calendar of your appointments, and you need to have some kind of a daily tracker for your tasks. And then, so that's simple. Anybody can do that. Anybody can get a planner. You put down your appointments that correlate to your goals, and there's different techniques to break that down. And then for your daily tracker, which is where a lot of times your goals, that was my goal starting out for the year. But how did I get to the end of the year and not accomplish it? It's because so what I do is I write down my yearly appointments, I write down my monthly appointments, all as they correlate to the goals. I write down my weekly appointments, and then weekly tasks broken down, and then daily. This is simple, right? Once you do it the first time, you're like, oh my goodness, this is so simple. And then daily, each task that you need to get done, and then at the end of the day, you can use a 6-list approach. I use the Franklin Covey approach. They're all very, very similar. Very similar. It's about, I accomplish about 10 major things in a day, and then they branch out from there. And then what isn't done by end of day, I never leave the office. I never leave my work until I carry it over into the next day. So when I start out my day, I'm not writing my to-do list. I already know going forward I wake up at 5 a.m. By 6 a.m., I'm ready to go. I'm working already at that point, and I don't have to spend time planning. And then once you know how to do that, your team has to do the same things you have to do, right? So you just teach them to do that. You show them your planner, and then it's like, well, what are my tasks that I have to do? 40% sales. I used to be a branch manager for staffing, for recruiting, so I had to sell, and I had to do operations, right? And there's different, categories, different percentages, and that's not the purpose of this call to talk about those percentages. But you should just be like, okay, for your sales categories, what are the things that you're doing? For your operations, what are the things that you're doing? And then issues and IT things, those are the minimum. And then you just carry it over and duplicate it every day. And that's simple. That's all you have to do.
Perfect. And I love that. And I think that, a lot of the women and men that are joining this business are doing this really as a side business. So they may only have an hour a day, tops, to do to work towards it works, because they've got kids and jobs and husbands and sick moms and all sorts of things that they're dealing with. So I think being able to say to yourself, if I only have an hour of time a day to focus on this, if I break that into those 15-minute increments and put it in my calendar, or just power out 1 hour a day and really live that time intentionally, put down your phone with Facebook, don't answer messages as they roll in, and really focus on kind of what you guys were saying about tackling the things, your 6 list, tackling the things that are on your list, of the 6 things that you really want to accomplish each day, and then budgeting in the other things along with it. And of course, with this business, the number one thing should be anything that's what's called an IPA activity, which stands for income producing activities first, which in our case would be blitzing, wrapping, and repeating. And those would be the main focus topics that we should always do. So goal setting, I think, super important. Something else that I see that happens a lot, Justin, with people is distractions. So do you want to talk a little bit about the distractions and how they can really harm your business?
Yeah, I mean, everyone gets distracted. That's just what we do. We're humans. We have a lot going on, whether it's family, it's the TV's on, YouTube is there, the animals, babies, you name it. Everything can really distract you. So what you want to do is kind of think about what's most important and what's least important, and then build yourself into a routine. So I know for me, what I think about being most important, categorizing my day, we call them the ABC categories. So for A, that's the most important stuff. What am I putting everything else away to get done first? And that's my A category. So for us, that is blitzing. That's talking to our potentials, following up. If we've got customer auto ships that are running, that's on the A list. We've got to talk to our customers. If we've got distributor meetings, all the important get-togethers, things that are time structured. This call was a list today. It was 9:30. We had to get on. That was on the A list. Then we got our B list category. So that's answering your messages. Following back up after you've made those connections. After this, then we'll go through the comments and see what people are saying. But that's more of a B list activity. So then you want to kind of think about those secondary part of the day. And then your C categories, those kind of you fit in when you have time. But you still need to get them done. C category stuff's really important, but it's very easy to forget about it completely. For instance, getting your oil changed, doing your laundry. If you don't get those things done, then it starts piling up, and it can actually hold you back and put serious detriment on A's and B's. So you want to put them all in focus, but you want to put more of your time and more of your stress on the A category, and follow it to B, and then make sure you're at least leaving a little bit of time for that C category stuff. So designate a time, finish a task before starting another one. While this call is going on, I'm going to put everything else away, and then I'm going to focus on the next thing. I'm sure Lori has some great tips on that, talking about 15-minute increments and doing task by task by task. But that's like when we have our time to go blitzing, we cut all the other distractions out. So the phone turns off. I don't let this guy come up in the way. Don't let the light turn on. If that light turns on, I'm just gonna start getting distracted. So make sure that you're setting all that stuff aside. Set yourself a time to do it, and then focus on it. Laser focus. That's what I love. One of my favorite things, Mark Pentecost. Get that laser focus on those tasks individually. Get them done. Like Lori was saying, make sure you got a little task list. Check it off. And then when you've got all your things done for the day and they're all passed off, not only will you feel good, but you've done each thing as well.
And Krista, Joe, I know, you've got 3 kids, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got 3 children. You are building a monster empire. How do you keep yourself from being distracted? What are some tips that you can give the moms and dads out there?
Well, first of all, when I first started, I'm going to kind of give you, there's 2 categories. Either you're working a side job and working this business, or you're just exclusively working this business. So when I was working, my primary job in the beginning as a director of nursing, I was working 80 hours a week. I really didn't have time for anything extra, but I made time. So every morning as I drove to work, I would actually leave the house 10 to 15 minutes early so I could arrive in my work parking lot, and then I would post. I would post on Facebook. I would post on Instagram. And then what I would do is by the time lunch came around, I would spend my lunchtime responding to people or setting up appointments. I'd be talking to people on my lunch break as I ate, or most of the time, in all honesty, I sacrificed my lunch break to be on the phone with people because that was my goal and that was more important. I could eat later or snack or run to the break room, and I honestly would make sandwiches and cut them in quarters so I could run into the break room for a second and chow down a quarter of my sandwich because I gave up my lunch break. Another thing is most people would take smoke breaks at work. Most jobs have where you are allowed 3 or 4 15-minute smoke breaks. Well, I didn't smoke, but guess what? I took those breaks because they were still allowed to us no matter what we did. I would use those 15-minute breaks, and I would run out and I would call somebody. As soon as I got off of work, hopefully if I had enough time at lunchtime, if I wasn't on a call, I would start posting on Facebook again. I would do follow-ups on that lunch break, and then come afternoon or evening when I got off of work, I would already have a mass amount of messages or people to respond to, and then I'd respond to them. I would be on the phone in my car on the way home from work. As soon as I got home, the business was put aside. I did not really sacrifice a whole lot of time with my children because I didn't have too much time with them already. So what I did is as soon as they went to bed at 8:30, here I am back on my phone or back on my computer. And the great thing about this business, you don't have to put your family on the back burner. You don't want to do that, because what is success if your family's not there, you know, in the future? So prioritizing your family, you can do it. It all comes down to what you want to do. Most people watch TV. I personally have not watched TV in over 6 years. It's probably been close to 8 years since I started nursing school. I don't have time for it. My children don't even watch TV because we're too busy. We're too busy doing activities. So I think that's the focus.
There's no BV in TV.
Yes. And I think that's the important thing is, you know, you have to decide what your goals are, and you know, if you're sitting around watching TV or you're playing games on Facebook, that's where then you have to really decide what's really important to you. Is it changing your family's life, or is it going to the next rank in a game, or is it watching that series that you could record on your I don't know, I don't even record videos, but my husband does sometimes. So however that is that he does all that jazzy, you know, whatever stuff, that's all good. And keeping myself focused, it's all your goals. If you want something bad enough, you will do anything by any means necessary to make it happen and know that failure is not an option. And that's what it was to me. I wanted a way out, and I was tired of missing every Christmas program, every holiday party, every event where they were running, every dance recital, because I was a slave to my job, and I knew that if I didn't go into work, I didn't have a job. Well, who else is going to feed my family? And I wanted out of that, so I made sacrifices. I slept probably an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, but in 1 month later, just in 1 month of doing those efforts, I went diamond. And it was solely because of my dedication and the discipline to making my goals actually happen for me. Moving forward now that I no longer work and I have the pleasure of staying home, it was really easy in the beginning just to stay focused, but there has been times where I've gotten distracted because I'm like, oh my gosh, laundry needs to be done or something else needs to be done. So you have to keep yourself on task with your planner. I mean, I have planned from the moment that I get up and I brush my teeth. I have the moment that, you know, I'm going to do my prayer, my devotionals, my leadership training, my network marketing boot camps. I have lunch planned. I have the time that I'm going to clean my house and do my laundry planned. And sticking with that's really important. I do have to turn my phone off. I do the same thing Justin and you do, which is the ABCs of time management. And I'm really learning that and prioritizing, you know, what's important to target. And then personally, honestly, where I'm at right now, it is kind of a struggle and a distraction. So personally right now, I'm looking at, just because of having my son in the house, my husband, and just getting distracted with normal day life, I'm actually looking at getting an office space. So every morning I'm going to treat it. And I believe with this business, if you work it like a job and treat it like a job or business, you work it like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. And that's the point where I'm at because of where I want my efforts to go. Yeah, I've been doing great over the past few months, even with the distractions, but I want to take it to another level. And how I need to do that, I need to laser focus. And if that means me taking money out of my commissions check and getting an office space and going in there every morning at 6 a.m. and treating it like a job or regular business, that's what I'm looking at doing. And then clocking out, you know, just kind of, you know, being my own boss, but truly ensuring that there are no distractions even in the house, because it's hard.
Absolutely. And, you know, for those moms that can't do that yet, you know, maybe they're not at the diamond level or the double diamond level where they could do that if they so choose, or, you know, we're lucky enough and blessed enough to have an office. We moved into a 2-bedroom so that we could have our own office, which you can see behind me. But if you don't have the luxury of that, I tell my new distributors, you know, just map out a corner of your bedroom. Put a little $20 folding table up there. Put a dining room table up to it. You know, maybe put your goals list, like I've got back here, up on your wall, and your dream board. Maybe a few administrative things, some paperwork, some product catalogs, whatever you need. And you just tell your family, you know, this is my space and this is my workspace, because I'm going to work really hard, because the average time to Ambassador Diamond is 50 months. I'm going to try to do it quicker than that. I know Krista Joe is. I know everyone that's on this today is. But if you're taking 50 months to get to ambassador, if I told you that if we spent 4.5 years working really hard and working at a little office thing and really focusing,
working at the corner of your bedroom,
if you worked really hard doing that, for 5 years, and I could promise you an income of $565,000 a year, would you do it?
Right.
And to me, that's worth a folding table, a black tablecloth, a product catalog, and having a goal board up on the wall. That's how we started out. Eventually, our living room actually turned into the office, so that was strange. But we don't have that now. We have an actual room, which is exciting. And that's the other thing is I do know moms out there that do have a little space maybe in their garage, and you just tell your family, hey, you know what? This is my hour. Every hour, mom goes out to the garage from 7:30 to 8:30 or whatever time it is for you, and mom works. And you spend that hour fully dedicated, laser focused, tackling your 6 lists and your ABC lists and all the things that you need to get done. It's amazing what you can accomplish in an hour when you actually do it with intention versus distractions. Now, Lori, what do you say to someone who says, well, I'm on Facebook all day and I'm trying to build my business and I really seem to be busy, but I'm not getting anywhere? What do you think's happening with them?
Yeah, well, and I'm saying this from a humble place of that I didn't understand time management until I had to do it. That just even right now, for the last months in my job, I actually have been doing 3 people's full-time jobs, and I work each of them into part-time, which is why I'm very blessed that my boss is letting me go part-time to develop this business. I've been doing 3 people's full-time jobs part-time by using these methods. And it's very, very effective. So somebody that is getting pulled off on this or pulled off on that, one of the, oops, we have something. Nope, it's good on our screen. Okay. So what, for several of my, I don't know if people are familiar with Six Sigma. This is it's another methodology that I had to be trained in order to just do my job as an IT project manager. And it's how to create.
What's it called?
It's called Six Sigma, and it's an efficiency program. It's how the airline industry, just like Benjamin Franklin developed that because he developed his whole person as an intellectual. He became president. He founded the nation. He was a spiritual leader. He was a whole person, and he learned if I want to be a whole person, I have to have my whole day focused to each one of those, or something's going to miss. So what my career developed into is I became actually an efficiency expert, and I was a consultant for a time into Fortune 500 companies, and managers would hire me, just like my manager that I work for now worked for Fortune 200 company, one of the largest organization in our city where we're at, and they would have me go into departments, and they say, Laura, you just shadow somebody, and you just, you'd see me writing all that stuff and being quiet. It's because I've learned how to shadow. They've sent me into shadow vice presidents and watch them and then give them feedback. And I'd say, why did you do this task? What outcome was created from that? And they'd go, oh. And I'd say, don't do that. Why do you need this folder on your desk? I don't see you touching that all day. And then so I would shadow that to receptionist level too, because we're all the same things. I was helping a janitor that I was working with late when I left the office at 8:30 last night, and I was like, oh, okay, why do you? Because I watched her how she was taking the emptying my trash. I said, I'm so sorry, I'm stinky, I'm so sorry, that's disgusting. That's all the food that I ate today. I said, okay, why do you do that? Why do you take? And she's like, oh, okay. And then so it's like somebody that's being pulled away for Facebook, somebody that's being pulled away for those tasks. Again, it goes to, do you want to be a whole person? Do you want method, the Ivy League method? But if that's the person that you want to be, just do what they did, and it's not hard. So if you're somebody that, if you signed up, if you're watching this and you signed up, something inside of your heart is crying out, there's something bigger in me, and it can't get out with how my life is right now. So just listen and incorporate just 3 of the things, because we're talking about maybe 50 things that you can do. Just do 3 of them. Just do 3 of them. It's like, so if I'm being pulled away in Facebook, what's that one adjustment? And I can maybe increase 20% productivity to my day and say, I'm gonna go on a Facebook diet. I want to become Ruby. this month. Well, seriously, really?
I'm using that every day of my life now. You just literally coined a phrase. Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm just going to get fat. It's like, well, what if I've gained weight? What did I eat? So I'm going to go on a Facebook diet, and I'm going to increase just that. I want to go ruby this month. What can I? This is somebody that's watching. I want to be emerald. I want to be diamond. Okay, so what do I need for my business to do on Facebook, right? So what do we need to do? We need to post. You're working another job, and you need to do Krista's method. This is the second thing you can do, take away from today's meeting. Post in the AM before you go into your job, post over lunch, and then follow up with customers in the evening. And that's your Facebook diet. By decreasing all the fat, you just gained that 20%. And that's how I saw vice presidents totally increase their efficiency. And that's how do you become a manager? You've never managed somebody. You just do something that works and tell somebody else. And you're a manager. You're a leader that somebody can respect because they see something in you that they don't have. So I'm talking too much, but I've seen
you're perfect. And I love that. I love the idea of the Facebook diet because I get this a lot from distributors, and Krista, Joe, you probably have this happen as well. I posted 100 times on Facebook today and nobody's messaged me back. And I say to them, why in the world would anyone post 100 times on Facebook? What is going on? Like, can you even do that? Is that a thing that can happen? Because what we started doing is I post, so when we get up in the morning, I usually get up between like 6:30 and 7. I get up a little later than Krista Joe, but I'm a crazy night owl. And I do need more than 1 or 2 hours of sleep, or I'm a nightmare because I'm an old person. So anyways, I get up in the morning and I try to do a motivational post. I do, a product post, but I don't ever just post products. I post something silly like the look on your face when you've had your greens, or just something kind of silly that makes it seem like a real person. And then I post in my team pages into my team, and then I put my phone away. And that there is no more Facebooking. Like, that's it. And if you look through my Facebook, you'll see hours and hours of gaps in between posting because my phone goes off and it goes over here until it's time to answer messages and post on Facebook again. And then I'm able to get so much done. When we first started this business, Justin and I both also had full-time jobs. He was a heating and cooling specialist, so he worked anywhere between 60 to 80 hours a week. And I owned a hair salon, and I was the only station there. Until we wound up hiring Eve, who actually bought the salon from me. But at the beginning, I was running, I was working 10 hours a day too. Plus we have, our son, our teenager, Eve, at the time. So really time management really was so hard in the beginning for me. And I wish I would have had the lessons that Krista and Lori are telling us now. I wish I would have had those in the beginning because I think I would have saved myself a lot of time and heartache. The other thing that I think people get lost in, especially when they first start, is feeling like they need to be an expert. Has anyone felt like they needed to be an expert in this business before they got started, or have you ever had anyone on your team that felt they needed to be an expert? How about you, Krista? Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I love this quote. It's my favorite quote ever. I heard it from my good friend Brianna Swindle, and it's, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. And when we first started, Justin and I spent the first 2 weeks after we got our kit researching all the ingredients in wraps, researching what it did to fat cells and the molecular composition of fat fighters and all this stuff, which, P.S. and by the way, I'm not a health and wellness coach. I'm certainly not a fitness coach. I don't know anything about really the way the body works except for I have one. So I don't know why I was spending so much time trying to be that expert. Krista, what do you say to that distributor that says, well, I just need to spend all of my time researching this business and the line before I get started?
And I've actually had that happen quite a few times. I've even had distributors or potentials that watched 1 million YouTube videos before they even took that step because they wanted to make for sure that they stepped in as an expert or knowledgeable. I would say save yourself the time, because the time and everything that you're learning right now, you're going to be relearning it or learning additional things, and just learn as you go. I think that's the most important thing. Learn as you go. If you get too much into smaller details, which is what I did in the beginning. I did a lot of research, and I could have used that time building my business. And, you know, God knows where I would have been had I even done that the first week or week and a half that I had started. So just know that you're going to grow. It's a process. You're going to learn everything as you go along, and nobody expects you to be an expert. When people used to ask me, how does it work? I used to get technical with them and into the juicy biology, and I'm like, well, if you know, according to microbiology and the cells and active transport, nobody cares about that, and nobody remembers that or even knows it. So I word vomited, and so I learned to say it works great. You know, most people, even with simple questions, you know, how do we get paid? And I would say, well, you know, it's on a, you know, prepaid card. It's on this time of the month and this time and blah, 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 blah. All they wanted to know maybe was, how do we get paid? Well, you get paid on a card. If they would ask more specific questions, I would then elaborate on and answer only the specific questions. So one thing I learned is, don't get into all the detail, because most people don't care and they'll never ask. So if they ask you a question, I've heard that saying was, keep it simple, stupid. Like, we tend to overthink and think that they're asking us some deep question that, you know, has to have this significant reasoning or rationale behind it, and they're not. They want something just short and sweet, and they accept it for what it is. So save yourself the time and keep the research as you're moving forward in your business. And when you get to that point in your business where you need to learn something, then do what you need to do and keep it to a minimum. So watch YouTube video, reach out to an upline leader, because they probably have experience in that area. If you're on a Facebook group and you're looking on something leadership, type in that search bar, leadership. You don't even have to go through the phase of asking somebody and them getting back to you. Just go look for it. Look for it, watch something simple, and don't get into the details and distracted and watching tons of YouTube videos to master that. Just take what you need from it and move forward.
Well, and I think a good tip for that too, if you have a question, so if you're getting started, and a good rule, I'm gonna back up just a second. If you haven't gotten started and you want to ask a bunch of questions, I think that's really where we lead into the over-explaining, trying to teach and doing too much. You don't need to do that. Before people get started, we feel like we do need to know everything so that we can tell them everything. But before people get started, they don't want to hear everything. You don't want to give everything away to someone who hasn't started. Someone who hasn't started just wants to hear the good stuff, why we're doing this, you know, the reason of what you're doing, what the potential is. That's all the things you need to talk about, whether it's products or the business. So that's why you don't want to get very detailed. Getting very detailed is for when people get started. So once you have that customer, now you can actually start talking about all the products with them. Bring them to the product coach. We have all these tools at our disposal to really then get more involved. And when somebody's actually either paying for products or working on their business, they're going to take it more seriously and they're going to listen to that advice more. So when people aren't paying for it, they're not going to be as invested. So you're just wasting your time by trying to give them all that information. So save yourselves the time, and that's a great time saver right there. But what you really want to do is let that go forward. So if you've got someone who's just getting started out and wants to learn all these things, all those tools are there. So you want to point them to those tools and get them on it. We've got the product coach. We've got the training. We've got the social media training now too. And that's something you learn as time goes on. And we call it millionaire school. So if you want to learn to become a millionaire, you can learn as you work. It's not something where you need to go get that 8-year degree to become a doctor so that then you can start operating. This is operating day one and learning how as you go. And the more you learn and the more you work, the faster you can grow. You can get your 8 years done in 4 years or 2 years. Or you can get it done in 16. Everyone grows at a different pace, but that's really where that time management comes involved. The better timed you are and the more productive you can be, the faster you can get through all those processes.
I agree. And the neat thing about It Works is they do give us all the tools that you need for you to be able to save time. So, for instance, I had a girl message me last night that said, hey, I saw your thing on Facebook. It's a girl we met while working in the library. You know, hey, I saw your thing on Facebook about It Works. What is It Works? And I just said, It Works is an amazing company that gives you 3 different ways to make money and products that change people's lives. If I sent you a short 3-minute video, would you watch it? And she said, yeah. So I sent her the Cami Dempsey video. Or when I have someone that says, well, what exactly do you do with wrapping? There's a 57-second video that you can send people from the It Works Global channel. Or, well, how exactly do you run this business? I send them a picture of the steps to success. And I say, let's talk and see how, and I'll show you how easy it is to fill this out. Not only does it allow you to use third party, which always works better, and that's going to be a topic for another time, but it also saves you time. If you're able to send someone a video that takes 2 seconds for you to send, and they spend the next 5 minutes watching it, that's 5 minutes more that you have with your kids to eat a quarter of your sandwich, Krista Joe, for Lori to, check off the things on her list, for Justin to do some admin work, or whatever it is that we're doing at that time. It really will save you some time utilizing those tools. My It Works Product Coach, if you're not familiar with that yet, please check it out. It's amazing. It's especially good for those people that say, I'm allergic to this, 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 and this. I don't like this, 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 and this. I don't want to take this, 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 and this. I say, go to My It Works Product Coach. You can put in anything you could ever want to know about a product or its ingredients, and it will tell you, it will even speak it to you if you want. And it's going to save me time from researching what bladder wrack is, or limonene, or some ingredient that I don't even know what it needs to do, because I trust this company and I know that it's good. So we break our time management kind of into 4 different categories. I'm going to share those with you guys, and then I'm going to ask Krista Joe and Lori to also do theirs, because they probably do it a little differently. So we break our stuff into 4 categories, and 60% of the time we spend on IPAs, which are income-producing activities. Again, this is blitzing, wrapping, repeating, talking to new people, wrapping someone on the go, walking someone through the steps to success, or a party pad. Anything that's going to add BV to your tree is going to be an income-generating activity or an IPA. It's also going to be something, it could be something that adds $25 to your pocket, like selling a wrap. So we spend 60% of our time doing that. We spend 30% of our time on team building. Now, if you don't have a team yet, and you're not focusing on them yet, then that 30% should go back into the first category, which is income-producing activities.
And maybe more specifically, focusing on getting distributed,
exactly.
Building a team.
By saying, who needs a little extra money? That's my whole spiel. That's, I kind of call it like it is, girl. Number 3 category is administration. And this should be the first thing you delegate out once you actually start creating a downline and getting somewhere, especially by the time you get to Diamond. So admin work is making copies, putting labels on things, running to the post office, mailing things,
store orders.
Justin getting this video together this morning for me, anything that has to do with administration. Now, if you don't have someone else to help you with that, you can find someone. We have distributors who their 14-year-old kids help them, and they pay them $5 a week. We've got people that have their sister that doesn't want to be part of the business, but she doesn't mind making copies and running around and doing a little bit of extra work to help her sister out. If you need to do it yourself, then limit that time. That should only be 10% of your time, and we have admin days. So on Mondays, we try to get as much admin stuff done for the day as we can. Justin will work really hard on this so that it can free up the rest of the week. Making sure my Blitz bag has Blitz cards in it. Making sure that I've got customer order forms with me so I'm not scrambling last minute. I know everyone knows what that feeling is like, and it's terrible. But that's only 10% of your time. And then the last 10% is actually what you're doing right now. And that's what we call sharpening your saw. And that's watching YouTube videos, reading up on network marketing people. I start my morning every morning with a motivational video. I love Lewis Howes. If anyone has an opportunity to find him, he does a podcast called The School of Greatness, and he's one of my favorite. He has really successful people on there, network marketers and not network marketers, just really neat people. So I start my day with him every morning, and that really only takes about 10 to 20 minutes, and I do that while I'm making my ProFit or drinking my coffee or playing with my niece or whatever I'm doing that morning. But that again should only be 10% of your time. So looking at those categories, if you're not spending 60 to 90% of your time doing something that's going to add BV to your tree or cash to your pocket, then you've gotten lost. So what do you ladies do, and how do you break it up?
You go ahead. Sure. One of the most important things that I learned, again, this was from, I won't say the name of it, but you can Google what is the most financially successful recruiting company, international recruiting company, and it's recruiting six-figure positions and above. I used to work for that company, and so I was trained under them as well. And they required us we were measured on everything, including outgoing calls, number of sales prospects generated that day, everything, how our profit margin, all those types of things. So they did something that worked, is the reason I'm saying that. Time blocking. And everything that you just broke down is exactly what the most financially successful recruiting firm, told us to do. And it is transferable. It's because it's the same type of industry. Here are my notes that I just took from what you said. And for everybody, this might be slightly different, but it should be pretty much the same. I heard you say 60% is money, IPA, sales, whatever you want to call that. And so that's exactly what I would do in that recruiting. I'm in a slightly different project management role right now for my job as I'm transitioning into this, but this is what I'm doing for It Works. 30% for managing or leading your team. So that's exactly what for that organization that we would have to do. And then 10% for administration and different issues that would come up. And so time blocking is the essence of doing those things. Learning if you're new to I'm going to just speak to the people because I am transferring from one industry where I was successful into another industry. And you can't let that get into your head that because you're not seeing the same results immediately that you're not successful or that you're a failure, because that's not the truth. If you have demonstrated success in the past, it's in you and it's going to come out of you. You just need to know this in order to time block yourself into success. That's it. If you want a tagline, there you go. Time block your way into success, because that's how you do the steps to success. So whatever is on those sheets, I just wrote down every single one of your time blocks, and that's what you need to do. You package similar activities, because everybody knows, two can do something much more than one can, right? So if I have 5 LCs that I have to input into the system, 5 loyal customers at the start, so I'm speaking to the new person. So rather than going, I just signed somebody up, I'm going to put, this and that, oh my gosh, and then I have a distributor, they just called me, and then they want to schedule a wrap party, and then, it's like you're overwhelmed. How do you organize it and get more done with those tasks? You could stretch all of those out and work 12-hour days, right? Or you can, all the LCs, organizers, put it in a stack, and you're going to do them all together. Still the same sense of urgency. You have all the DTs. Do all of that together. You have different issues, like people say that they didn't get their you have to call. I don't have an admin. I have to call It Works. I have to call it corporate and find out what happened with it. Package them, all those 5 issues up together, and make all the calls together, back to back to back. So hopefully that answered your question. And then you just do this every day.
You touched on something so important too, which is momentum within an activity, and we try to focus on doing that too. So when we have someone, when we've got a loyal customer put in, and loyal customers to contact, and loyal customers' orders to change, and perk points to talk about, we try to block that into a time frame, because then momentum is going. Customer, 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 customer. It's all customer stuff, rather than customer, DT, wrapping someone, this and that. It goes back and forth. You lose that momentum. And that does mean, which this was the hardest thing for me to learn in this business, and Justin tried to get me to do this forever, and I know he wanted to pull his hair out, was allowing messages and allowing things to sit. Because when I first started, it would be like, oh, message, oh, this, oh, I got to do this, and I was all over the place, and then I'd be like bawling and be like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I just want to go live in a cardboard box. I don't want to do this. Like, right, drama queen.
Your snake's always better after it's marinated. So do that.
There you go.
Do that with your messages.
Absolutely. Letting it just sit, because guess what? A lot of those things will take care of themselves, and I didn't believe it, but it's so true.
Yep.
I'm freaking out, a customer, whatever the thing is, and I just let it sit, and all my distributors know I do this, and some of them I know it drives you crazy, but then I'll get a message later that day that's like, oh, never mind, figured it out. And it allowed me to continue on momentum of whatever I was doing. Like, while we're sitting here, there is literally text messages and emails just bling, 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 bling coming up. I'm not even reading them. I can see things are popping up, but I'm not going to read them because what is my momentum right now? Team training. So let's break down, because we're going to wrap this up here. We got about 6 more minutes until we've been on for an hour. And I'm going to just kind of list off my to-do list. Also, Krista Joe, I want to talk a little bit about the 6 list, but I figure why don't we do that on another one of these, because I think that's something that we really need to break down is that 6 list, because I think that's really, really important. So I think we could even do a whole other topic on that one. So I'm going to I have a few things jotted down that you ladies have talked about, things that we've talked about, and then I'm going to also allow you to kind of put out your to-do list for DTs. So to do, this is what I've written down. Get yourself a calendar. Get yourself a planner. If you don't have one or you can't get to the store, you can print one. If you go to Google, you type in calendar and you go to images, clip art, you can even print them out from there. Make yourself an office. Even if it's a corner of a room or a corner of the dining room or it's your car.
A sliver of the couch.
A sliver of the couch. Whatever it is, make yourself an area so that when your family and friends see you sitting there, they know that that means work time. Have and put a wrap bag together for on the go. So I have in my car a little black bag I got from IKEA for $1.99. It has customer order forms, distributor order forms, wraps, scissors, fab wrap, product catalogs, and blitz cards. And I take that with me and make sure that it's always stocked in the car so that if I'm going to wrap someone on the go, I can just grab that really, really quickly. That's going to save you a lot of time from scrambling. Plan your, like Lori and Krista were doing, which I actually don't do it this way, and I'm going to start doing it how you guys suggested. Plan your long-term goal and then break it down into monthly, weekly, and daily and hourly. I have been going backwards with it, and I think that this is going to work way better, starting with the big picture and then breaking it down into the different components. So I'm actually, thank you guys, because I'm going to start doing that now. Put down your phone. I get it that this is so awesome and it's amazing and looks so cool because it's green, but this right here will suck the life out of your business. It's tricky because it's a business building tool, but it's also a business sucker. The second you find yourself scrolling on Facebook, every time, this is what I tell my DTs, the second you find yourself scrolling on Facebook like this, I want you to look at it this way. $1, $2, $3, $4, you are literally taking that money out of your bank account every time you scroll. Label your blitz cards, catalogs, and miscellaneous stuff on administrative day. If that means you have to label all 100 of your blitz cards and power it out in 1 hour, then sit down and do that. Avery Labels is amazing. You can get labels made that way, or you can go to your office supply store and get a whole row of labels made for about $1. Get a few different notepads and keep your list separate. So I have like a notepad that I specifically have for distributor issues or ideas I have for distributors. I have a loyal customer one. I have a team management one. I have different notepads. Now you can do this all in one notepad if you want, but I like keeping it separate. So when I say to myself, it's DT time, and I literally pick up, you know, my DT catalog or my DT folder or my DT notepad, I'm focusing just on distributor stuff at that time. And the last but not least, I also, of course, plan I've got my calendar. I use time managed, and in the comments, we'll put the different planners we use because all of us use different ones, and they're all equally good. It just depends on what you like. But one thing I do besides just my planner is I journal every evening. And I write down what I did, how much time I spent on different things, so that I can look back and say to myself, how can I make this even more efficient? And how can I take even less time doing this task? What in this task list can I get a virtual assistant or an assistant to take care of? Even if it's your kids, like, hey, I'll give you $1 to fold the laundry, or you can see it 10 minutes later, or whatever it is that took my time away from income-generating activities. I like to try to make myself as efficient as humanly possible. Justin, any tips that you have?
Delete the things on your phone you don't need. I can think of about most of our phones got filled up at one point because of apps just alone. So go through your phone and start deleting all the things that are sucking up your time. and that'll really help you boil down what you need to do. Again, I like the idea of doing your Facebook posts, all your social media stuff. Pick a time of the day to do it. First thing when you wake up, that's when most people are doing the same exact thing. So pick that as one of your times. You're already going to do it anyway, but just remember that was your time. And then pick either a lunchtime or a nighttime to finish up to do those posts. And each platform's a little different as we're all learning through our 100-day adventure. So maybe you want to find your own times for each platform, but don't just sit there and scroll. Be specific with the things that you're going to do. If you want to scroll through your Facebook, make sure that you set yourself a limit. Don't do it time, maybe do it through action. So if you're going to scroll through your Facebook, only do 20 likes. So if you've done your 20th like, that's when you stop scrolling, because you can just keep scrolling forever. So put yourself a limit, whether it's time or it's an action. Definitely the calendar. Calendars are huge. Charity does hers on a big book, and I do all of mine through the phone. It tells me, reminders. It gives me notifications. I can check it wherever I go. I can check it on the computer. So I like it digitally, but I also like the paper as well. I think the paper works great because a lot of times, it's easier to note down really quick. Sometimes it takes a little longer to do it on the phone than it does to just scribble down on something. So I also like to keep a notepad just to write down quick notes or quick times. If someone's telling me something, I can't really get that in my phone really quick. So keep some paper on you at all times so you can jot down those quick notes, and then you can transfer it into your planner or into your scheduler.
And Lori, what about you? What do you have on your to-do list that you would encourage any new distributors, existing distributors, heck, even Ambassador Diamonds? I mean, everybody needs help with time management.
Yes, exactly. Actually, I'm happy you asked that, because I just kept having this feeling that there are people that are watching that everybody's in two categories, right? You're starting or you're starting over. Because anytime you do personal development, you're willing to you have your heart open, I'm starting over, right? So I feel like we should create right now the time block list as I answer it. So if you're watching and you're going, how do I start or how do I start over? What time blocks do I need to do to move forward? So my sales for the time blocks, and I'd love if we could create this together. So you said that you blitz, wrap, repeat, right? That's one of my time blocks. So Facebook posts, right? That's another one of my time blocks. Instagram, Twitter, if you're active on those types of things, those are time blocks. Those are wrap parties. That's a time block. And follow-ups. Okay, are there any other major sales generating is that it? Just to take the mystery and the feeling of being overwhelmed, like I don't know how to do this and I can't do this. I can't get my arms around it. It seems like those are the same time blocks that are needed for that, and that's it. Just do that. And then for the other main category that you had for the 30% of your time is team building. So let's just maybe say 3 categories, right? Do you have daily team meetings of some kind? It'll be different for everybody.
Or conference calls. You could be posting in conference calls, posting in Facebook groups that you have for your team.
Posting to leader groups. What's another? Just a couple of the team management
leadership training. So the conference calls, leadership training. So having a distributor meeting or something.
Okay, that's it. And that's basically it, right? So the admin, what are like maybe 4 to 5 just those basic time blocks that everyone will have to be? You have to resolve issues, right? There's always going to be that, and there's like 5,000 categories that come up with that. Calling it works, or I couldn't order product, so I had to reset my password. On and on and on and on. What are some other major admin things? Labels. Get your, make sure that your sales tools are stocked up every Monday, right? And let's give people the answers for that. You need to have your Blitz cards. You need to have your customer order forms. You need to have your DT forms. You need to have your charts for each level and
product
catalogs. And is that it? Those are the basics, right?
Your basics. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then your personal development, or whatever you want to call it, that time block. So let's create that. So maybe somebody is just doing the social media training, right? And if that's, and then you know what I'm going to include in personal development, the time management, incorporating this message today. So that's using your planner, learning how to do that. And this is not an overwhelming list, right? We just created that, and this is something that can turn people from feeling like, overwhelmed and I can't do this. Other people can too. I can do this. I'm going to just do this tomorrow. I'm going to not think about it. I'm going to do these. Yes, tomorrow, and then just see how it works. And then, my first distributor I sign up, I'm going to learn, even if I've never managed before, I'm going to learn how to repeat this. And you know what? You've not just become a manager, but then you become a leader, somebody that, you can't respect somebody until you trust them. This is leader, and you can't trust them until you know them. So when somebody is, so I trust Krista, because we've gone on some road trips together now. Little conference joke there. Jokey. But and it's like when you see, when your distributors see you doing that, you're gonna avoid so many different, and this is a whole different call, just team and conflict you don't even have to go there, because they know that you're like this. You don't even have to go there with anything. So that's the best time management of all, right? And I saw that demonstrated your leadership, how you are with your teams. It's great. Wonderful. Okay, I'll stop talking.
That was wonderful.
Lots of information.
I feverishly wrote that as well, because trust me, I'm still learning my time management. I'm working on it. Krista Joe, what do you got for us, Sunshine?
Okay, so I'm, again, the planner. If you guys, because some people can't afford a $10 or even $20 planner or $40 planner, I just reviewed Charities. It's awesome. It's called Time Managed, and they make one specifically for It Works. Look it up. It's amazing. I was scoping out theirs. It's awesome. In the meantime,
that's the one I use.
Yes, and I love it. It's set up very closely to the Passion Planner. I did the Passion Planner because I ordered one, and they're on back order and yada yada. So they have a free PDF file. So if you don't have the income resources right now to purchase an amazing $40 planner, that's okay. You can go to passionplanner.com and print this off. What I love about it is because I can implement my yearly goals. So my yearly goal, I'm actually I would love to go ambassador, but I'm setting my goal for presidential by the end of this year. So what I have done is I created a business plan. I'll actually make those available on Rapid and Live the Dream. I'll upload those sometime this weekend or something. Perfect. But what I did is I broke down to go presidential in a year. So what I have learned in business plans is no matter what type of business you're in, you have to treat your business as if you're the only one working it, because at the end of the day, yes, we want people and team leaders that we trust, that there's mutual trust, loyalty, and commitment, but at the end of the day, this is your business. So you're responsible for building your business. So I have broken down how many distributors does a presidential have to go presidential. And then I broke down, it is, I can't remember, but if it's 170 distributors, guess what? I have 12 months to get that if my goal is presidential, and I'm going from nothing, or not nothing, but I'm going from the bottom to the top, should I say, from where we all started distributor, but from 0 distributors to 170, for example. That means I am then going to need to be signing up about, on average, 12 distributors a month to complete that goal. So even though realistically you're not going to be doing it on your own, you are going to be having people come through, and you're going to have runners and teammates that are duplicating. You still have to go according to your business plan as if you are the only one building your entire business. So I have even calculated, for example, to go Ruby, you need 5 distributors. So actually, you know what, I'm going to go Diamond, because a lot of people, that's their goal. Diamond, you need 24 distributors. So if your goal is to go Diamond in 1 year, you need to be signing at least 2 distributors a month. I actually set it for 3, because there's going to be months that we fall a little bit short on our goals, and that's okay. So 2 to 3 distributors need to be signed a month. So then I believe you need at a minimum, I think 16 of those distributors have to have like 400 in volume. So I figured out on average, 400 in volume is anywhere between 5 and 6 customers. So I calculated that. So let's say it's 240 customers, and It's less than that. But 240 customers, let's say, to go diamond. Your goal is a year, so that means you need to be signing up 20 customers on average a month. Okay, that's for you to do it in a year. In this business plan, I also broke down, okay, how do you get diamond in 6 months? How do you get there in 3 months? And how do you get there in a month? So if my goal is diamond in a year, I already know then, okay, I need to be signing at least 2 to 3 distributors a month. Now let me break those down into weekly goals. Well, I don't want to say, okay, I need to sign a distributor 1 every 2 weeks. I'm going to say I need to sign 1 every week because, again, sometimes we're going to fall short. So what I love is break your ultimate plan down into the time frame that you want, break it down into monthly goals, into weekly goals, and into daily goals. So what I love about my planner, I have this week's focus. It is massive action. Like Mark said, he said double your efforts because guess what? We just doubled the good. So you have to work twice as hard to get twice the amount of money, and you can totally do it. So massive action. As I said in a video today, I love Eric Worre's 90-day game plan. Slow and steady does not win the race. And we were just in a conference with 15,000 like-minded people who flew out of there running. And guess what? You're in a race, and you have to run your race with heart. And there is a prize. That prize is changing your family's life and all of your whys becoming a reality. So the goal is massive action for the week. I have broke down into the time slots using the same strategy that every day. I think one of the most important things moving forward too is personal development. So every day I work on network marketing, owning your own home business, personal development, Danny Johnson's script book, and prospecting and closing. It's amazing. I also do motivational. So this is John Maxwell's You're Worth It. And then of course, just overall network marketing, personal development as well. So I have increments for my personal development already blocked into my time. I have my meetings. So I know every day between 10 and noon and in the afternoon, those are the times I've allotted myself to set up my my phone conversations with my potential distributors or my potential customers. And that way I can break them down every 30 minutes. So if I'm making if I'm going to call Charity at 10:30 and then maybe my goal is to call Justin at 10:45 and Lori at 11 p.m. Or 11 o'clock, I'm sorry, you can break all that down. So I also have little sticky notes that I put to the side. So we are having a business meeting with a man on Monday, and I put here something specific for me to remember to discuss with him. Another thing, I have that I'm doing a leaders call on Monday. So I have said right here, okay, what we're going to discuss is goals and priorities. And then I even have like my 6 list here. And then you can do an inspirational quote. But what I love is because of our daily goals, I have put down out of this entire day, what is the most important? Well, guess what? It is my meeting with my potential distributor, Kiana. That is my priority for my entire day, is because this one person has set up a meeting because she's ready to change her life. So it shows me no matter if things come up or happen in the day and life occurs, this is what's priority. So I love this. And then again, like I said, my goal is to build a Ruby a week. So I have already chosen, there's 2 people that my goal is to build the 2 Rubies this week. I'm going to put their names here, and that's my focus. I mean, my focus is going to be building my entire team, but you know, we all have team members that have been in this for a while. So we have to focus on the new ones and getting them started. So this is what I think is important is, you know, make for sure that you put your personal development in there because you learn so much in this business. It only needs to be 30 minutes a day. So planning is important. What I do is I've already made my planner out for next week. So now I know, because I have so many little notes and post-it notes here and there, this is what my obligation is next week. Anything else needs to be scheduled around this. So the next thing is, I know we were talking about 6 lists. I'm not going to get into deep detail, but I always make my to-do list the night before. If you do it when you first wake up, your kids, if you have kiddos, mine are like, oh, Mom, we need this, or our shirt isn't clean, and we wanted this or that, or, oh, my gosh, we woke up late, we need breakfast. It's going to start your day off on the wrong foot, and it's going to be kind of stressful, and trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what was my to-do list? Do it at night before you go to bed while you have all of your thoughts together so you're prepared so you can hit the ground running when you wake up in the morning. The next important thing would be alarm clocks. I used to do my calendar on my phone and found that I never stuck to it because my phone's overwhelmed with constant notifications that I'd end up dismissing a very important notification from my calendar. So I just stick to paper calendar. This is my brain. This is my everything. But I set my alarm clock. So if my goal is to post every morning when I first wake up, well, guess what? If you're not in the habit of posting on Instagram and Facebook every morning, maybe you need to start off by setting your alarm clock. If you wake up at 6:30, maybe set it for 6:40 to go ahead and go off so you know, okay, I need to post on Facebook or Instagram, or this is my lunch break at work, to remind yourself to do this. Now that I'm at home, I even tell my leaders, if you're at work, most of you can sneak into the bathroom or off to the side for a split second. In the beginning, even when I was working, I set my phone to go off every 2 hours. So I literally set an alarm clock every 2 hours to go off my phone. If I was busy doing something, then of course I would dismiss it. But at the back of my mind, I would know, okay, I need to go ahead and post on Instagram, even though it could have been in 2 hours or an hour late or something. So hold yourself accountable by setting an alarm clock. You still may not post every hour. You may not post.
So I've got my, wake up alarm, which is, it says get up out of bed. It's time to build your business and grow your future. But I also have, we have a high five at 3:05. We have in our phone. So every day that goes off at 3:05. We high five. We put a picture up on Facebook. And then for my Facebook posting in the morning and stuff, I think I'm going to get even more nitty and gritty with it like you do, because I think it's going to help me to keep on task too. Like, okay, it's time to post on Facebook. And then 10 minutes later when that alarm goes off, it's like, you're done posting on Facebook. Too bad if you didn't get it all up. Your time's over. And I also like on your planner that you have things in different colors. That's something I struggle with in my planner is pretty soon, this is what our calendars look like. So when you look at a day, it just gets it gets to the point where it's just there's things, drawn everywhere, and I can't even see what's going on. Justin's always like, what are we doing? I can't read this. So I'm going to do that with highlighters too, and really focus on breaking that down color coordination wise. I think that's a really good idea. So one last tip, Krista Joe, we're over time. Our time management has failed on keeping this in an hour, but that's okay. So we're always growing and stretching and changing. What's one last tip you can give any of our distributors, especially newbies, to keep themselves on task?
You have to do it. You have to do it. So take the time. Everything takes time. So take the time to sit down. What Lori just showed you guys, her list here of, okay, sales, blitzing, wrapping, repeating, Facebook posts. So go ahead and pull out your passion planner, your time manager, any planner you have, and write down what time every day am I going to blitz.
Right.
So guess what? If you're at the grocery store, that can be your blitz time, because maybe you don't have an hour to blitz. When are you going to post on Facebook? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. When are you going to do Instagram? So implement this into your calendars and just look at your calendars every day. I put my calendar up on my desk every day, and I have it. I actually just keep mine in like manila folder, and I have it opened waiting for me. So I'm forced to look at it. So just get in the habit. The only way we get in the habit of things is creating those habits, and so you just have to start it. And then guess what? If you have an issue with remembering your planner, I did in the beginning, put on your alarm clock, check planner first thing in the morning. You'll have to get started somewhere, but as you do, and it takes, I think, 21 days, they say, to make something a habit. Then you can turn those alarm clocks off. I can turn my alarm clocks off for certain things now, but it's important. Again, the Facebook scrolling, by setting my alarm clock to go off every hour, every 2 hours to post on Instagram or Facebook, it really eliminates the scrolling, because I already know, oh, I'm going to be back on there in an hour or two, and that gives you enough time for other things to come through. So just go for it. You can do it, but first you just have to believe in yourself, and you have to just take that first step. So get yourself planned and organized, and you'll be ready to go.
I love it. So thank you guys so much for doing this with me. Krista Joe, I think that looking at wrapping and living the dream, I think our next topic, which seems to be the #1 topic of discussion on there, is the ability to obtain distributors and teammates. Seems to be something that a lot of distributors are struggling with right now. So we will be, I think that should be our topic for next week, because that seems to be, you know, the #1 issue everyone's having. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this, and I really, really hope that this helped you with time management. I know I took a ton out of it. I know Justin did too. So thank you guys so much. And Krista Joe, I look forward to hundreds more of these with you, because I think that sideline sisters make the best kind of sisters. So take care, everybody. And remember, it starts with 1.
Bye.
Bye, guys.